Yo, what's going on, everybody? We back at it with another video. Today we're gonna be talking about some sports, some NBA talk. Anthony Edwards, his latest comments, bruh, talking about previous NBA eras. I don't understand why people my age do this shit, bruh. You can go and watch the tape from the 90s and see that they just as skilled as they are today. They just didn't shoot as much threes. That's pretty much it.
It's his game to win, or we go to overtime. Barkley, 20-footer, yes! Charles!
Trying to find Chapman. There it is.
Oh, look at this. And with 4 seconds remaining, Chapman has tied the game.
Drexler outside, Maloney, Johnson at the buzzer.
Inbounds pass. Kukoc for the win. It goes!
Not to mention, it was way more physical. They could do way more on the court. They didn't carry like they do 24/7 nowadays.
He traveled, got away with it.
He did travel, and that took a bad shot.
Yep, the crowd was on his case.
Easy for Paul George. Capella. And Capella takes it away from Beal. That was a travel.
Points below his career average. KCP gets knocked off the line by Donovan Mitchell, but he hustles back to get it.
There against Durant. Pennies took it.
Bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I'm saying I'm a fan of the game today, but when I grew up watching the game in the early 2000s, watching Kobe, watching the Spurs, watching the Pistons, watching the Kings, watching those battles they had with the Lakers, watching T-Mac and them boys, the young Vince Carter, all these guards, I wouldn't say that the guards today are any better than the guards of the 2000s when I grew up watching basketball. So I don't know what Anthony Edwards talking about, but I mean, even with, I think we all have to concede that obviously with the advent of better nutrition, better training, better recovery, in 2024 than, even, 10, 15 years ago, I would say. How does that still even explain things such as load management? You got players sitting out because they don't want to get hurt or they got lingering injuries. And, players didn't used to do that. Players used to play, through the whole game. And it's not like, the court is any smaller. It's not like it's a different game. It's just that, I feel like the players with all this new training and this new technology, I think comes with it, some of these, sort of, I guess you can call them like side effects, which includes, players getting more injured. That's why they're sitting out. They're making more money than ever before. Excuse me, which is good. I mean, I ain't got a problem with that. Get their bread, bro. Better have the players make it than the owners and the television networks. But I mean, can you really say they play harder today than they did 20, 30 years ago? Can you really say when you just watch them play on the court, you do the eye test, that they really play with the same heart and the same veracity, the same ferociousness that like Kobe and them used to play with, bro? Hell no, bro. That shit is non-existent, bro. Like, you don't even see that on the court anymore, bro. Even with guys like Jokic, Giannis. I mean, obviously you see them balling out and putting up crazy numbers, bro. 35, 15, and 12. You know what I'm saying? Putting up triple doubles like it's nothing, but it just seems so inflated. And, that it really just devalues, a lot of these, sort of stats, in my opinion, because they just allow them to score and they be calling fouls. And I like Ant Edwards, bro. I mean, I think he has some crazy plays, yamming on dudes, all out. He smacked the Nuggets, pretty much by himself this year in the playoffs. Flamed out against the Mavs, but those are just some of my initial thoughts, bro. I don't like it when people my age, NBA fans, sports fans of my age, when people say, oh, things are way better today than they were 20, 30 years ago. Like, this is the best era of sports, music, all these different genres and different areas, bro. Like, that shit is not true, bro. Shit has actually gotten worse, but we gonna talk about that in a broader sense at another time. But concerning sports and basketball in this case, and Anthony Edwards' comments, let's hear what KG and Paul Pierce had to say concerning Anthony Edwards' latest comments saying that players weren't talented back in the day.
Because we the Kobe era.
He also prefaced by saying he didn't watch back then, and he's also
like
23
that
years
shit,
old,
bro.
so like we got to take that into account.
You got bots on Twitter agreeing with that shit, bro. 12-year-olds and shit.
I mean, I think that was directed more toward the Jordan era, because when I hear that and I really start thinking about it, I'm like, nah, that's not true, because you have multiple players who had hella skill. I'm talking about, come on now, that's pretty much doing the same things they's doing now. You know, we had the guards who was going up doing the stuff that we see D-Rose and Ja Morant doing. I mean, I see Aaron Davis, Steve Francis, and Kevin Johnson doing all that type of stuff. I will say this, the skill level has gotten better with this generation, but I don't think overall
I will concede that in general.
Better player. I think
if they're not a better player, I agree with that too.
I think the imagination and the flair of the game is not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't play as much basketball as we did. They work out individually. We played 5-on-5, and our creativity for the game was a lot better in our era. Because, like, who's a showman? Who would you consider, like, a showman of today? Like, Kyrie maybe with the dribbles.
Yeah, and Ja.
The high-flying Ja.
I mean, when you say Kyrie, it was Rod Strickland.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, think about the
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's Carter. I'm like,
for every NBA player, every stand that says, "Oh, Ant Edwards, nobody was good at age 23." Look at Ja Morant. You know, look at all these players. Literally, there's every current NBA player you can find a comp for that same dude. If you go back in the 80s, the 90s, like, you got players who played just like that. You got Isaiah Thomas. You got Rod Strickland. You got Tim Hardaway. You got niggas was crossing dudes up back in the day, bro. I'm a fan of Kyrie and, you know, AI and AI. Like, you know what I'm saying? People seem to forget. Like, I ain't no hater, but a lot of people like to say Kyrie is the most skilled player ever. And I just think that's the most, like, blanketed, like, statement anybody. And you could say he got the best handles. You could say he got one of the best handles in NBA history. But to say the most skilled, Kobe, MJ, Hakeem, Magic, Bird, skilled, that's crazy.
Exactly, like Vince Carter, we never seen nothing like that. That was something different. I mean, Magic Johnson, White Chocolate. I mean,
hell yeah,
you don't see people passed away. J. Kidd did. Like, it's like unreal.
J. Kidd.
Like, we don't see that type of creativity no more. You know.
So my question to you is, when you see youngsters go, man, I didn't watch, so I don't. Is it important for youngsters?
Oh, we're just gonna go back to what we got to go back to Ticket's famous saying to me. You ain't watching the games, Lord. You ain't watching the games, Lord. You ain't going back watching the games, Lord.
If I'm being honest, bro, I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago. I'm being 100. And this is to everybody in our league. Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step back.
Hey, y'all, 20 years ago ain't the 90s or the 80s. 20 years ago is 2004. So LeBron was already in the league. Kobe was already dominating. Spurs was already dominating. The Pistons won the league that year, 2004. You had the Pacers were still good. So early 2000s is arguably one of the best eras for skill and overall just good basketball, bro.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back. And then if you shot that shit, it had to go in. You know why? Because we had efficiency back in the day, my dude, and it was so fucking hard. It was too physical. And guess what? The league had to come off of it for the flow of movement to be able to have scoring go up, which is why we like to sit here and watch kind of the rat race of the high-paced game, right? But, bro, let's not talk about the gamemanship, and let's not talk about the physicality of the game back then. Real shit, because I only think half these kids in the league could have been on an NBA team 20 years ago.
Straight up.
The locker room was too grown.
You know what I watched too? You know what I watched?
Too grown. It was two of them. It was too much of a fraternity. You understand? Like, yeah, man.
It's the handshake.
No, bro. It was a different vibration. David Stern did a great job of taking all of the physicality out of the game. You understand?
That's
freedom of
interesting.
movement
What are you
means
saying?
freedom of movement. Man, back in the day when you had to get by Paul because Paul was squared up with you and ready to slide, and then he could body you, he could poke, he could use his hands, but I can use my hands.
I could fight through a screen.
Bro, man, the
Can't play defense like that no more.
the levels in which you had to be not only strong enough, but skilled enough to get by this nigga in front of you. You understand? And then they ain't never seen a 6'7" Rodman guard you. Bro, I see you. And you know, you in the scout report.
Rob,
we know you go left. We know you can finish right, but you go left to pull up, bro. Everybody knows, bro. Niggas watching the games back then. Them Isaiah Thomases and the Dumars, man. Dumars shut Jordan down. Bro, they was coming to the lane, bro. You might get your nose broke trying to dunk. You understand? Dwayne Wade broke Cole's nose in the All-Star game.
I think he said something interesting like a minute ago, but he said like the locker rooms, he said he don't think players today can play 20 years ago because the locker rooms were too grown. And I think he alluded to the league being too grown. And you almost get the feeling like when you watching NBA basketball, right? And they are skilled and there are some great moments in basketball. If you watch, you know, any regular season game, any regular season team, you'll see some spectacular things. But like, don't you just get the feeling that you watching like, it almost feels like back then you were watching grown men play and today it's like you watching like teenagers play. I don't know if that makes sense, but the league don't really feel like he alluded to, like it's like it used to be grown, but today it just feels like players are obviously getting drafted, you know, after 1 year of college, they doing one and dones. I just got that feeling that like the league was more mature back then. I mean, think of like the Pistons, the Spurs, and you know how many vets was on these teams, and really don't have teams with like vets like that anymore. Like I can't think of any at the moment. Like, I just think that was a great point he brought up because it definitely feels that way just from watching the game.
It was just different. It was very different back then, bro. Real shit. I'm talking about in the locker room. You can't be on your phone in the locker room.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
20 years ago? Nobody in this era could have played 25 years ago. We said that. And I'm talking about not just the play and all the skill that everybody got. Actually was called bad shots and lack of efficiency. It was until they start fucking with all the data and saying take more threes than twos. Before then, we played ball, bro. We didn't give a fuck about all that other shit. And the GM couldn't come down and say, put into a game plan with a coach like Doc or D'Antoni talking about, we trying to get touches and touch the paint. Bro, I didn't see it.
It's hard to say more skill.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Nobody in this era has a mid-range.
You couldn't get, nobody.
Nobody in this era has a post game.
And the ones that do look amazing. Look at Shea. Shea got a mid-range.
Yeah.
You had to have that work, and you had to really work on your shit. There wasn't no, you was out 2-3 games, man. Your teammates, hey, bro, what you doing tonight? You going? Nah, I can't go, man. My toenail off, man. I can't. Nah, bro, you can't even come in here and lead no niggas like that. You hear me? So you had to strap it up and you had to get out here.
Hey, shout out to KG, man. He's so intense, man. But that's true, bro. Like that load management be affecting the way you see the NBA and the way you relate to the players. Because if they just sitting out, like it's like LeBron sitting out every other game, and like I'm afraid to buy tickets to an NBA game because I'm afraid like my favorite player is not even gonna be playing. And I spent all this money for a ticket. And, you know, imagine if you got kids, you taking them to the game, same thing, bruh. So it's like, it's the whole thing, bruh. Fans on Twitter will say they more skilled, and all they really doing today is just shooting more threes. Like, that's really all they doing more than they used to do. They still used to be able to dribble. They still had handles. They still could post up. They still could play defense 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's really just a three ball. So it's just like, damn, bruh.
Oh, yeah. Right. Real shit. You had, man, it was men leading men. Yeah, ain't none of these niggas been in no lockout. And Anthony Edwards don't know what's going on with the league policy. This, bro, you understand what I'm talking about? The leader, bro. Yeah, I can't even have this conversation.
You can't even say it if you ain't watch.
It ain't the same. It ain't the same.
Like,
Then you say I didn't watch.
And don't say you didn't
I mean,
watch.
Jordan, the only one has skill. Yeah, I know you didn't watch the game.
I know you
But him saying that.
Yeah, you can't say that.
You know what? Respect to the young
Crazy thing is, he said he never even watched them play, but he just saying that.
But I'm not gonna start the cooning. I'm here to elevate the game. I'm here to help the young players elevate themselves.
I love KG's passion for this, man, because, I mean, obviously, not only do I think most people, you know what I'm saying, agree with what KG is saying, but, you know, I got to salute to his passion and the way he's speaking to this, because he played in the old era. Their generation really grew up playing outside. They grew up playing at the park. You know, they used to play outside all day. Obviously, they didn't have smartphones and social media and that sort of thing. So, how we gonna say definitively that kids today is better when they not playing as much as they used to because they're not outside as much? You know what I'm saying? Every kid got a smartphone. They got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. There's more distractions. There's more showing off, I guess is the best way to put it, you know what I'm saying? And there's not as much love for the game as these old generations used to have that love and drive for the game, man. And you can see it in the way they play. They just don't got that dog in them, bro. You can see that they're very skilled. The players coming in the league today, they're very skilled, but they just don't got that same like killer, you know what I'm saying? Like go out and play hard, you know what I'm saying? They don't play as hard as they used to. They don't leave it out all on the floor like they used to. Like, you just get that feeling, man. And if you grew up watching basketball in the 2000s, you know what I'm talking about. I find it real hard to believe that players who grew up, got it out the mud, grew up playing outside, you know, really had to go get it from out the mud. You know, I really doubt that those players are less skilled, less creative than players who, sure, they got better training and they got better, you know what I'm saying, nutrition, whatever, recovery, but does that really make them more skilled when they not really playing as much and they not being as creative and they just shooting the ball more? That's just my opinion. But Paul Pierce brought up the point, like, who is really a showman in 2024 in the NBA, bro? I mean, the closest one I could think of is Kyrie Irving, but like, you really can't think of, like, obviously like a Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you know, LeBron early in his career, you know what I'm saying, where he just had you like in awe when you watching them play. They doing spectacular things with the ball. They jumping out the gym. And there really ain't no showman today, bro. I mean, you know, them European players coming over, and it seemed like they taking over a little bit, man. And there's really nothing we can do. And that includes Giannis too, bro. So you got Luka, Jokic, and you got Giannis, who really the top 3 players in the league right now, and none of them are really showmen. So makes for a less marketable league, and social media really, you know, saturates these players' personalities, and you can't really market them the same way you used to be able to market a Kobe or a Michael Jordan, because, you know, they weren't seen as much. And if you've seen them every day and you got access to their IG page or their TikTok or their Twitter, then it really makes them less valuable. Even though they're making more money, it makes them less valuable in a sense. With that being said, bro, I mean, you know, I can't agree with KG anymore, bro. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, bro. Do y'all really enjoy watching the NBA in 2024? Let me know what era y'all from, what era y'all prefer, and why you think this era or previous eras are better than today's era, man. I want to know what y'all think in the comments. Please let me know if you tuned into this video. I appreciate you. I'll see y'all real soon. Peace.